So before Alpha, I would say that I was searching is probably the best way to describe it. And it would be that kind of searching you do where you don't know where's up and where's down, what's north, south. And like I didn't even know where to begin. So after Alpha, I guess I would say that I feel, first and foremost, I just feel like loved. And I feel that way both in my spiritual life and in my faith life with God. And I also feel that in community. I think I found a group of people where you feel safe with and you can feel at home with and not judged for asking hard questions and for processing hard events that happen to you.
Before Alpha, I was disconnected from the church. I hadn't been going to Mass probably for 1.5 to 2 years. It's funny that when strife had hit our family, instead of going to the church, we actually fell away from the church. But after the holidays, we realized we're missing it. And so the first day of Mass that we came to in January, they talked about Alpha. So here I am. After Alpha, I feel like my faith is renewed. We've continuously been going back to Mass, and I know we're doing the right things with our kiddos and setting the right example, but it's not just for them, it's for us too. So it's been a really great experience and getting to meet the people in the church and the community. So
pretty active in the faith. Of course, born and raised Catholic, go to church regularly. Started going to this parish and getting really active in the different ministries, Knights of Columbus, RCIA, now Alpha, and many more. 55 and older won't have me yet, but someday soon I'll be there too. So working my way through the different ministries. Alpha's meant a lot because of, especially even in this last day with that video hits on, what Father Dewey said about community and how important it is that we're not all alone. There's a reason why this person knows something that I don't. This person has something that I don't, or this has this talent that I don't. You know, we're meant to come together to learn these things instead of being adrift trying to figure out things on our own.
Before Alpha, I was not involved in the church whatsoever. I had not stepped foot in a church since the day I got married, probably. I am not a Catholic, but as I saw my husband going to church more and more, and wanted to see what this was about, and just saw the change in him. After Alpha, I think I'm more caring, in tune. I want to help people. I want to help the less fortunate, the broken-hearted ones. And I don't think before Alpha I would have had the faith or the courage or the strength to do that. So I think that's kind of where I am now. I'm still learning a lot. I'm excited. I look forward to Alpha every week. I even said tonight I want to join the next one. Can I just go again and get more out of it? But it's been exciting. It's been very exciting. I've met a lot of neat people, and I look forward to it every week. It's kind of sad that it's over, though.
How would you best describe yourself before Alpha?
As kind of an on-the-fence Catholic. As a, you know, I believe in God. I believe in Jesus Christ. I believe in the resurrection. I believe in the tenets of all of the tenets of the Catholic Church, all the things that we stand up and profess on Sunday. But I wasn't really committed. More committed. What occurs, I think, to me is how much Jesus really gave up for us and how little he really asks us to give back to him for our own benefit. And it's not that wasn't intellectually obvious to me over years. It's at certain times over the years. It just maybe it just didn't connect from my heart to my brain. And I think if you really wanted to summarize Alpha, for me, it completed that connection.
Before Alpha, I would always have considered myself a passionate Catholic. I teach the youth. I've always been very drawn to working with kids and working with young adults. I have worked in youth ministry and worked in middle school for many, many years, and I love teaching. I'm passionate about what I believe in. From the time I was very little, I was always very aware that I needed to have a personal relationship with God and to know Jesus. After Alpha, I have a renewed sense of community. There is community that I forgot that I was a part of. I remember being a little kid and singing this Christopher Walken song as a child in children's choir at church and thinking the words were, "We are the church, happy to be the children in God's family." And I remember thinking, oh, that's so lovely. But as I grew older, I realized that my friendships had changed, and the motivation, I think, of people changes as you get older, and people find their different families and their different groups and move, and things change and community changes. And I found myself without community in a new way. I have very close friends, but no source of community, solid community that could hold me accountable. So after Alpha, I feel that I have a renewed sense of community, a group of people who truly care that I go to heaven.
Before Alpha, I would say I was fairly active in the church, knew people from different ministries, but definitely limited to my circle, for sure.
I think the same too. Just we've always been active, in the church, different ministries, and our faith was pretty deep. So I would say that it really just involved.
Okay. After Alpha, I think that I met other people, other couples that I wouldn't have otherwise have gotten to know. And I feel I'm more open to meeting and expanding my circle, for sure.
Yeah. Before Alpha, I was mostly, I guess I would call it, estranged from the Catholic Church. So I hadn't been to church in quite a number of years, and I just recently started going back to church. So I was newly Catholic again.
After Alpha, how do you describe yourself now?
I go to Mass daily now.
So awesome.
Oh, I benefited a lot. I think the first thing that comes to mind, which is easy, is just the community that I think was created. Not only like the larger community where you're seeing the same people for 10 weeks in all the different groups. So we get to socialize outside and before and after. But I really found it also in our small group to have just people that are at the same stages in life as I am. And we've all had very different experiences on how we came here, but it seemed like we all had a lot of different things in common as well. And our stories and our journey complemented each other. I think that really enabled me to come to know his love in a greater way, and in a deeper way, and in a more profound way, and make me more confident as well to not be afraid, not only to be who I am, but not be afraid to be somebody that also openly loves Jesus. And it's funny, I actually went to Catholic school from kindergarten to 8th grade. Then I went to a Catholic high school. Then I went to a Catholic college and got a degree in theology. And I still didn't feel very connected to Scripture. Also, having it put in the perspective of this isn't just a history book, or this isn't just a bunch of rules. It's a love letter that's been written to me. It really changed the way I read it, and I approached it, and it made it a lot more approachable. And it made it a resource for God to speak to me in a way that I had never done before.
No, it was really a back to basics lesson on what faith is all about, and really proof of what we believe. And I was just honored and proud just to be part of it. So, and the truth is, we all need it. And I think that was the biggest revelation. And to hear the stories and to hear, you know, if somebody would talk about their father, there was 5 father stories. If somebody would talk about a brother, there was 3 brother stories. You know, at the end of the day, we're really all pretty much in the same boat. And the stories vary, and there's different levels of severity, but it's I think we all show up here with the same kind of hurts, and what a great solution for that.
In what ways did you benefit from being a part of Alpha?
It gave me something to look forward to every week. Every week I thought, okay, I get off work and I'm going there, no matter how tired I was or whatever I was going through. I felt that it was a group of people that I could share my week with and share my day with, and I knew if something was hard, I could tell them about it, or if something was great, I could share it. And to get a text from somebody that says, "Oh, are you coming? Oh, they have Chick-fil-A for dinner," or something. It was a good thing to get off work and to know that there was a group of people waiting for me. And as Alpha continued, I started to realize that my prayer life was lacking. And so I started asking God for his gifts. And as we started talking about the Holy Spirit and being filled, I prayed that God would show me a new way to pray. And he started giving me these moments of clarity that I've never had in prayer before. I could write things and know what he was saying to me, and I always felt very confident in that, but all of a sudden he started giving me pictures, things that I had never seen before. Be it an image of someone's worn hands, or the image of a child, or even just today in prayer, just this image of walking on this tightrope across this beautiful canyon, but knowing that Christ was there to catch me, and that there was this group of people on the other side waiting for me to cross. And it was beautiful, and these images have given me hope, reminded me that I have friends and family and community in a church I always called home.
My prayer life has exploded, you know, with Alpha, and that really, I thought that I was good before at praying, but then after Alpha, or during Alpha, really, it's just constant prayer and the ability to pray over people, which I never thought that. I thought a priest could do that. I didn't know that we had the ability to pray over somebody's pains, physically, emotionally, and that to me was a real eye opener.
Very powerful.
Right? Yeah.
We had a couple that was going through something very significant that none of us knew about in the beginning, and we all came together and prayed for something really wonderful, for God to work his miracles in her, and he did. And tonight we got great news that we all prayed for. And that was really huge, and at that moment we felt so connected to one another. That was beautiful.
So we had by far, you know, the biggest impact that I had from one person in our group, just to see her spiritual life come to life, you know, with Alpha. Where she began to pray over people. She started a prison ministry, writing letters to people in prison. But to me, this was like just the absolute light of God shining down right there. And she was the real inspiration for our group every week. And I loved coming back every week just to get more and more out of her.
I think the retreat had a big impact on me. I didn't even realize, one of the problems that I encountered for the retreat was when we were receiving the Holy Spirit, I felt like I was rejecting it because I was so moved by it. I was afraid of how I was feeling, and I didn't feel very worthy. And I remember going to be prayed over and saying I didn't feel like I was enough. And it was it was interesting because that moment led me to make a decision in my life to meet my biological father. And because I didn't feel like I was enough, and I had written a letter, I found his address online, and I had this letter in my van for months. And after that meeting, I went ahead and I mailed it. And a week later, he contacted me. And before we had talked, I remember getting on my knees and praying to God that I would be enough, and that I would find my voice, and that he would know what to say, and that the words would be organic, and that it would be a good experience, and to take all expectations away. And even though I didn't think I needed to hear it, he apologized to me, and I told him that I had no ill will, and any burden that he felt like he was carrying, that I would forgive him for. And it was an amazing experience, and I don't know if I would have had that if I wasn't here at Alpha or had that weekend.
From everybody, I looked forward to coming and hearing the stories and knowing that we're not alone and sharing. I think from week to week, at first I was a little standoffish, and then kind of opening up more and more every week, and knowing that it was okay, and having everybody pray for you. I think the retreat was a great weekend, and I think even 2 weekends ago when everybody in our group prayed over me. First I thought it was a little weird, like I haven't been to church in so long, so this is still kind of new. I think growing up, going to church, it was just expected of you, and I think now as an adult, I can kind of learn and grow from it.
I think there were a couple. I think last week the film resonated with me, and so kind of got a little emotional there talking about that one with the group. So that was I think the biggest impact. Because we've had issues with one of our children, so and he's doing extremely well now. So it just that was a big impact on me there. So and then just just the conversations my wife and I now have. We haven't been religious. We didn't. I'm ashamed to say we never baptized any of our children, so it's never been, church has never been a part of our life, but it's kind of fun going home now, and on the way home we're talking about Catholicism, her religion, she's Lutheran, so we're talking about the differences in church, and she's asking questions of, why do you guys believe in this, and why do you do this, and so it's been kind of brought us closer a little bit together with that too. So.
I would say have an open mind, and try to put all those preconceived notions on the shelf, and just push through it, because what you find in each week as the Alpha program progresses is you become more and more comfortable with your decision to be part of it. And you almost, toward the end, you don't want it to end, because you've developed relationships with people in your group, and the biggest question that I hear is, how can we keep this going?
Alpha is a place where there is no preconceived notions, there's no expectations. You can just be yourself at any stage that you are. Whether that is somebody that has never heard of God before, or somebody that has fallen away from the church, or somebody that grew up in the church that isn't very confident in it, or somebody that's on fire.
And it was a beautiful thing to see them laughing and talking and discussing, people of every culture in different places of their faith, just sharing. And what I am so happy for is that this Alpha program gave them an opportunity to know someone that wanted what they wanted, and to now have someone to walk with in faith and in this journey of life that has so many ups and downs. So I'm just happy for that.